on the subject almost. So by now, Sister LeBlanc, we know that almost means very nearly, and Sister Nita McClendon, but not exactly or entirely. Very near, but not quite. As we said, coming up, Taylor Jones, close, but no cigar. Now we're going to look at almost and the tragedies. Almost and the tragedies. King Agrippa, Sister Henry, refuses Paul's invitation to accept Jesus. He flat out refused him. In fact, if you look at verse 30, Chris Jones, it tells us that he just got up and walked out. I mean, he got up and, you know, like y'all did that little Baptist finger and heights, and he just walked on out. And then the following verses even tells us he didn't think Paul was crazy. He didn't even think he was guilty, because he said, had he not appealed to Caesar, they'd let him go. What Agrippa was saying is, this guy ain't done nothing worthy of chains and beat downs. But it still stopped him at almost. What does it mean, Brianna Phillips? What does it mean to be stuck at almost? Okay? Now, ushers, I'm going to need y'all, because there's too many people walking. They confusing me. There's too many people walking out. They too big. They forgot that they had to go to the bathroom. Now, some may have to go, but just make sure, because, you know, some guy leave and little girl leave, just check somebody. Yeah, just check. Yeah, because they moving. I don't know who to look at. What does it mean to be stuck at almost? For a football team that almost wins the Super Bowl means they didn't. Yeah. Now, one thing I do know, I don't play football. I watch it, and I know some folk who do. And what I do know is that, Nisi, there is no ring for the runner-up. I mean, you saw Greg, all them diamonds in that G. But the Pittsburgh, Brian Phillips, now they got a couple, but they didn't get one last year. Yeah. See, moral victories is what get coaches fired. Yeah. And for all those, and whoever want to believe it, talking about, you know, it don't matter if you win or lost, it doesn't matter how you played. You believe that if you want to. Coach Don Jackson told us in high school, said, look, you talking about the moral victory? He said, look, when you pick up the paper next day, they got two columns, W and an L. You won or you lost. Ain't no A for almost won. I'm serious. Almost. For an archer who almost hits the bullseye, it means you didn't. For a runner who almost hits the tape first, it means you came in second. And Kobe Bryant said it best, whether you like him or not. He said, second place means you're the first loser. It's the truth. Mama took second. That's good. Ain't but one person beat me. Yeah, that's right. Now, to some, these things can be tragic, in which we just mentioned. But let me show you the tragedies that come to folk that almost got saved and received Christ, free salvation. And that's what's so bad about it, Sister Margaret said, he giving it away. And folks still won't take it. Where I grew up, you took free stuff if you didn't need it. Daddy said, take everything free except poison. Made sense to me. 2 points, and I'm going to leave you alone. Almost always leads to destruction. You catch that, Eric Chapman? Almost always leads to destruction. Now watch this, watch this. Michael Larkin, watch this. If Agrippa had have come to faith in Jesus, it would have changed his life. Because I know personally that Jesus changes everything that he touches. He's got so much power. One day a boy was dead in a casket, and all Jesus did was laid his hand on the casket, and the boy came back to life. Everything that he touches, he changes. The record said that there was 3 men, and they were sitting in a bar. And they said this fella came in that nobody knew, but they thought he was very mysterious, and they thought he had strange powers. Kind of had long flowing hair and kind of dressed funny, and he wore sandals and wouldn't associate with anybody. Resembled maybe somebody from the biblical era. And this man, in which nobody knew, overheard 3 people talking about their calamities. He heard one saying that I'm blind, and I wish that I could see the beautiful sunset that God has given to us. I wish I could see the different colors of the flowers. I wish I could see the pretty colors on the birds. And this man that nobody knew was compassionate, he came over and laid his hand upon the blind man, and all of a sudden the blind man's eyes came open, and he was able now to see. There was a man who had some walking devices, and he couldn't walk. And he was saying how he wished his legs would be able to move like everybody. He wanted to run with kids, and he wanted to play with kids, and he wanted to do some other things, but due to some difficulties he couldn't. And the man came by and touched him, and then the man's legs stopped moving, and he got up walking. And it said the 3rd man was on SSI, and when the stranger approached him, he said, "Don't touch me." Y'all catch that later. The point is, D got it. Everything that, I give y'all a minute. Go ahead. Everything that Jesus touches, he changes. If you like that, don't touch me. I got to go to work. Let me stay crippled. Paul is living proof. Right? Yeah, they talking about it now. They just getting it. Paul is living proof right in front of him. Watch this. He's in chains. But yet, JQ, his heart is filled with joy, love, and peace. He's a prisoner, but he has peace. They think he's a slave, but he's free. He's been in dungeons, but never depression. Why? Because on the Damascus road, he had been touched. And you see, that's the reason some of us are not changing, because Monique, a lot of us can talk a good game, but a lot of us talking ain't been touched. Oh, see, there's a difference about a touch. Let me tell you. You remember the lady. Y'all remember the lady. You know the lady in the Bible. The lady had y'all remember the lady. The lady had an issue. And she sure enough had an issue. This lady was hemorrhaging. She was bleeding for 12 long years. Now, men, we can't even fathom this, so don't even try to figure it out. But you know that not 12 months. Constant flow of blood, 12 years. In Palestine, where it was 120 degrees. You figure it out. She spent all of her money on doctors. everybody, I can help you, until her money ran low. Finally, she said, I'm getting ready to break tradition. I'm getting ready to break some custom norms, because how many of you know that when you hurting bad enough, you would do some things you said you swore you wouldn't do. Yeah, that pain hit you. You will start doing some things that, whoa. The lady, get the picture now. The lady knew that she wasn't supposed to be in public because she's bleeding. That lady said, 12 years, bump that. The lady got down, Monique, on her knees. And Tammy, she started crawling through the multitude. No doubt somebody was stepping on her hand. No doubt that she was getting kicked. But the lady said, I understand that, but I'm telling you, his foot may hurt, but it don't hurt worse than this blood that's coming out of me every single day. She said, I got to crawl because I heard there was a healer in town named Jesus. And I know I'm not supposed to touch H-I-M, but I want to touch the H-E-M. And she got down and got in distance, Dorothy, and reached out and grabbed the hem of his garment. And all of a sudden, something happened, and something in him went down through his garment and went through her arm and got inside of her and stopped her right away. And watch this, watch this. She just touched his clothes, and there was with a throng of multitude, and Jesus stopped and had the nerve to say, somebody touch me. So somebody touched me, and y'all know Peter knew everything. He said, Jesus, quite naturally they touched you. There's a throng of people. He said, Peter, you didn't hear me, and if you keep your big mouth shut, you'll learn something. He said, Peter, I didn't say somebody bumped me. Stay with me. I didn't say somebody rubbed up against me. I said somebody touched me. He said, how do you know, Lord? He said, power has left me. And what left him got into Jesus. And some of us been coming to church 30 years, and all you did was bump. All you did was rub up against them. That's why you're still lying, you're still gossiping, you're still tipping when you ought to be tired. You ain't been touched. That's why lying's still in your tongue. You just got in the multitude. Yeah. That's why do-right ain't in you. Because you hadn't been touched. Because when he touches, stuff change. Yeah. So quit bumping and reach out, and Diana Ross said, touch. God Almighty. Watch this, y'all. If Agrippa had given his life to Jesus, watch this, it may have brought Bernice to Jesus. Maybe she'd have stopped wiggling and shaking. Maybe she would have stopped dropping it like it was. Maybe she'd have started living like a lady, but not a lady of the night. Yeah. See, because see, Bernice was going to him, so if he'd have changed, then the relationship would have had to change, because he would have said, sweetie, we can't do this no more. Who knows? Maybe Festus, who thought Paul was mad, maybe he would have bowed his knee to Jesus. But because Agrippa refused to bow, he continued in sin and left many wrecked and ruined lives. Now, Moses, nobody goes to heaven alone. But watch this. Here's the scary part. Nobody goes to hell alone either. You taking somebody with you regardless of which way you're going. And my question to you, my brothers and my sisters, who are you stopping from coming to Jesus because you can't leave Bernice alone? Bernice can be a person.